Welcome to the 30-minute hour. It's the personal development podcast for entrepreneurs. We're looking to level up and become unstoppable. I'm your host, Eric Twiggs, your procrastination prevention partner. Joining me as always, you know him as the super CEO, the business strategist extraordinaire, and all-around good guy, Ted Fells.
Happy Monday.
Absolutely.
Happy Monday.
That's right. It is a happy Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, if you missed the Thank God It's Monday, you need to go to the 30-minute hour Facebook page and check it out. We said sometimes the rejection is for your protection.
Woo! You got to go
check that out.
You didn't.
I can't give you all the details right now, what we said and where we. You got to go. You have to see it for yourself.
You can't give this a little taste, or just a little.
I can't tell. They have to go and they have to see it for themselves. All I can say is it'll change your perspective on Mondays or any day of the week for that matter. We have people that dread rejection or fear rejection, but if you realize the rejection is for your protection, change the game for you.
That boy good.
Oh, man. That's right. So, as you've probably seen by now, this is not your everyday podcast.
No.
We do things a little differently here on the 30-minute hour. We should have warned Lyndsey beforehand that this is a little different, that this is not your everyday podcast.
It's not your everyday podcast.
I'm here for it.
So she ready. She said she's ready.
She's ready for it? Well, that's good.
No mercy. No mercy.
Let's go.
No mercy.
So the good thing is that you can watch us live on the 30-minute hour Facebook page, on our LinkedIn page, and on our YouTube page. And then later you can go back and listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any of those other places where you consume your content for podcasts. So today we're going to talk about the 3 secrets to becoming a game changer. That's right. That's the theme for our show. And I'm happy to report that our guest for today has changed the game. Literally. She's literally changed the game. You'll see why here in a little bit. The game where all good hints come in threes.
Right. That's right.
Is the brainchild of entrepreneur and music industry professional that we're going to introduce here in just a second. Bringing together her passion for creativity and music, she created the game as a nod to her childhood. Growing up, she loved 2 things, board games and music. In her early teens, she began DJing with the moniker DJ Lovely.
Yep.
I never knew that. That's interesting. Let's talk about that.
You know about DJ Lovely?
No. Ted, you know about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, keep it holding out. All right. And she also embarked on a 10-year-long journey playing music to satisfy everyone. She had a whole DJ business. We'll get into that.
Yep.
But let's go ahead and introduce her. Please join me in welcoming to the 30-minute hour podcast, Lyndsey McFail.
Thank you. Let me just say, this feels like home. Like the gang's back together again.
Yes,
absolutely.
This is the game. People don't know.
That's it.
Fantastic. Yeah. No, it definitely does feel like we're back at home, and it's great talking to you again. And this is going to be a fantastic show. We've been trying to put this together for a while. I'm glad we're able to meet up now. So I want to give people like the full perspective, right, of how we got to this point. So I know you went to Clark Atlanta University as an undergraduate. So I'm just curious, like, what were your career plans when you were at Clark University as an undergraduate? What did you think you'd be doing?
So I thought that I was either going to be a radio personality or I was going to be a police officer. Yeah. I wanted to be a narcotics detective.
That sounds cool.
And, my mom, she would be like, I think I mentioned it to her. She was like, first of all, Lyndsey, who's going to listen to you when you're like, freeze, stop, She's like, nobody's gonna listen to that voice.
That's right.
So I knew in my mind, I don't think that the police officer thing was gonna work out fully, but I went into Clark saying like, okay, I want to be a radio show host. That was my goal. And Clark is well known for mass media arts. So you have television and broadcast, radio, and public relations. I feel like I'm missing one of them, but eventually I went on to do PR, and while I was in school, my goal was to be Gucci Mane's publicist, because I figured if I could do his PR, I could do anybody's PR.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, this isn't the Gucci that you know now. This is this isn't the glowed up Gucci. He's still like doing drugs and like in trouble with the law. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. See,
Yeah.
I'm learning all kinds. Lyndsey, I thought I knew you pretty well from back in the day, and you've said several things that I had no idea were in your background.
Can we tell the people, before we get into it, can we tell the people how we all know each other?
Sure.
Can we give a little background so that they can understand better, like, our relationship?
Absolutely. So, want me to share it? Did you want to share it? How you want to do it? I'll share it. All
One
right.
of y'all share it. Oh, I'm gonna share it.
So now the three of us, we were in the same ministry at church. And it was the Christian Business Partners. And we talked about entrepreneurship and, things, strategies. And we looked at it from a spiritual perspective. Lyndsey was the coordinator who made it happen. I was the spiritual advisor. Ted was the director.
Yep.
Week after week we met, or it was a monthly meeting, but definitely something that really, I looked forward to doing it. I tell you, and it was, very rewarding. We talked to a lot of business owners, inspired a lot of business owners. So that's our backstory. But I used to talk to Lyndsey all the time about different things.
Yep.
Never knew she was had a DJ business, and never knew that she wanted to be a police officer.
That's crazy that you didn't know that DJ, because I even DJ for the church.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I missed that.
You heard that music downstairs one day in the fellowship hall, and you didn't know that was DJ Lovely down there.
Yeah. And then I guess I did such a great job with the Christian Business Partners that I went on to work for Ted. I worked with you for years.
Yeah, she worked for me for years, and then left me and went to New York. It was gone. And my life has not been the same since. The company fell apart.
Been better. It's been better since I left.
We're still trying to put the pieces back together. No,
that was over 10 years ago.
Lyndsey, great. It was great.
Yeah.
Now, see, I did know that. I did know that.
And I learned so much. I learned so much from you both, from working for Christian Business Partners and working at Nucor. Like, I learned so much that it's taken me, the things that I learned with working with you all has taken me to where I am today. So,
really?
Absolutely.
Give me some money.
You know what?
Give me some money.
Well, look, when we get it all, then maybe we'll take you out to dinner.
I want some loot.
You want the loot? Give me the loot. Give me the loot. No, but it's the truth. It really is the truth. I learned so much.
Now that we appreciate it. Yeah, we certainly picked up things from you as well. And also, so you're a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
That's right.
There you go. And you were on the same line with Chantel Powell, one of our previous guests.
Yes. The CEO and owner of Play Pits. Shout out to Chantel. That is my boo right there.
No. That's how I met Chantel. Lyndsey worked for me and thought I needed some help with my attire. And then she connected me with Chantel, and then Chantel became my, she was Lyndsey was just real direct. Let me tell you, Lyndsey said to you one time, she said, Ted, why don't you just tell people what you want to do? Just tell them. Yeah. And since then, I've been just telling them, right? I just tell them. Then she said, Ted, You ever thought about a stylist? A stylist. And next thing you know, Chantel was throwing out all my stuff. And now, look
And
at
that's
where she is
fine.
now.
And that's totally fine because, and it worked out so well. Sometimes you need someone to be direct and tell you a thing or two. So you're welcome.
They don't like your clothes. They don't like what you wear. That's what they
I
say.
just thought,
That's the young people. The young people came in there and told me they didn't like what I was wearing.
I just
I
thought,
appreciate it.
as a CEO, you look great. You did, but you could step it up a notch. You could enhance.
Here we go. That's what I call it. This when you try to butter the toast, you done burnt. Now you trying to put some butter on it. You look great. You need a style.
You look good. You look better.
But no, thank you. Yeah, so Chantel, yeah, she was great, and even now that she's the Play Pitch boss, I will still reach out and say, which one of these shirts you like? But I'm about to do. Don't look at about that. FaceTime me so I can see which one.
Oh my gosh!
To this day,
she created a monster.
To this day, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But no, I do think. I mean, there's something to be said for being upfront and to the point. I think they call it radical candor. Where you tell people there's actually a book out by that name, Radical Candor, where you say what's on your mind. You tell people what the deal is, right?
Yeah.
And then you risk losing some friends. I mean, some people can't take it. I mean, some of them can't take it.
That's the risk that you have to take. But listen, would you rather me not say anything?
I was good, but no, you're right. You gotta, pull folks to the side, help them.
Yeah.
Oh man! So, if you could go back to when you were an undergraduate at Clark University, Clark Atlanta, knowing what you know now, like what advice would you give to yourself?
That's right. We come with the tough questions here, Lynn.
Yeah, that is a good one. What advice would I give to myself is, continue to try everything. Just continue to try everything because I was very active. You mentioned I was a member of AKA Alpha Pi chapter. I was a Spanish tutor. I was a campus ambassador. So when potential students would come to Clark to visit, I would take them around and do like campus tours. I also had my own radio show my freshman year. I'm probably leaving something out, but I did a lot of stuff, and I love to try different things because it opened me up to know what I liked and what I didn't. So that was really important. So I think, that would be my best advice to myself is to make sure that you just continue to try everything.
I think that's good because, there's some thought going around that, oh, no, you need to specialize. You got to pick a lane. Mm-hmm. You're saying it's better just to kind of try things and figure out what it is you want to do.
Yeah. And I learned so much. You learn so much about yourself too.
Yep. Totally agree. So in 2001, you started this DJ Lovely Incorporated. Tell us about that.
Oh yeah. I saw Juice, the movie Juice, for the very first time, with Tupac and Omar Epps and Khalil Kain. Khalil Kain is actually like up the street doing a chat about Juice right now. Somebody sent it to me and they were like, I know how much you love Juice. And it's so crazy because now the neighborhood that I live in is where they film Juice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I watched Juice for the first time and I saw Omar Epps and he was DJing. He had the crowd hype. And I was like, oh, I want to do this. This looks exactly like what I want to do. And I went like maybe a week or two later, I went to Thomas Jefferson Community Center and they had free DJ classes. And I was like, oh my gosh, like it was meant to be. And I asked my mom if I could take the classes. She said, yeah. And, shout out to Derek Santos, aka DJ Dorico, and Mr. Bravo, who created the course, and Derek, he taught it. And I started off going to the classes, learning. Then Derek would ask me to go with him to some of his gigs, and he'd be like, "Okay, well, I gotta go to the bathroom or something like that," and then I would DJ in his place. Then people started asking me to DJ, so I had to go to Mr. Bravo and like rent out the equipment because I didn't have any equipment at this point. And then eventually I bought my own equipment. And, I started getting my own DJing jobs, and the rest is pretty much history.
Wow.
Yeah.
DJ Lovely.
Yeah, I would DJ for birthday parties, weddings at the church. My mom recently reminded me that I DJ for the church. Honestly, I had forgotten all about it, but we would have like events. I feel like we had an event down at Drew or someplace, and I DJ'd that. It was like a family fun day. I also DJ'd at the mall, at Macy's, at Sephora. So I DJ'd for a long time. I DJ'd for years, people's 60th birthday parties, every age, complete, all the age ranges. So I had to make sure that my music was on point. I couldn't just play, stuff that I liked. I had to make sure that I had old school hand dancing music, all the line dances and everything.
That 80th birthday party with Tupac, that just probably was not gonna.
It wasn't going to cut it. It wasn't going to cut it. I could maybe throw in a little something, but also, you got to think if somebody's 80 years old and they're having a DJ at a party and they want to dance, and they pretty much know music, and so they're open to hearing whatever. So yeah, so it was definitely a great time. I got so much experience with like communicating with people, because I was saying, I was talking with my mom, and I was like, she didn't talk for me. Like, she wasn't on the phone booking my gigs or anything like that. I had to speak to adults, and mind you, I'm like 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. So I'm negotiating my price. I'm negotiating, all these things, and saying like, okay, I'm going to get there this time, so I have enough time to set up. I'm going to break down. If you want to go longer, it's going to cost you this much. My mom didn't do that. My mom was like, I already got a job. I ain't, I'm not your assistant. So the most my mom did, she was very instrumental in my DJ career, of course, because she taught me a lot about business, because she owns her own business. She has her own calligraphy company and her own gallery, the Photo Gallery. And
shout out to Florida. Shout out.
Shout out to the Photo Gallery and Lyndsey McFail. And so I learned a lot from her. And so I had to, send people invoices, make sure they paid on time. Because if people weren't paying, I wasn't pulling up. If you're not paying, I ain't playing.
I ain't playing. Hey, look, but Eric, she also was a rapper.
That was not. I was a poet and didn't even know it.
A poet didn't even know it. Look, she was a rapper. That was my gift wrapper every Christmas. She had yeah, she's a rapper.
I forgot about that too.
And I come over there at a minute before midnight and bring over all my stuff to wrap.
Ted would come with bags and boxes. I got more in the car. More in the car.
That's right. That was a rapper, a DJ and a rapper, Eric.
Yeah, definitely.
But we just glossed over a tweetable point where she said, "If you're not paying, I'm not playing."
I'm not playing.
That's tweetable right there.
That's right.
Good. Please, look, tag me in that, because seriously, like I would be very serious about that too. If you if I wasn't paid up front, I think it was like 50% up front, 50 at the end of the event, because sometimes people would be like, oh, let's keep the party going, and I had rates for that. But if they didn't have that deposit before, before it was time for me to get started, oh, it's a wrap. I'm not going.
Yeah, I'm done.
Don't let it be someplace far like Warrington or Ashburn or something like that. Oh no,
I'm not going. I got something else to do.
Yeah.
So Lyndsey, so the desire to DJ is just totally gone now. So under no circumstances, hypothetically, if I said, "Hey, I've got this event, I could really use your DJing," no temptation to want to DJ.
Nope. every so often I do get the urge to DJ, but it's more so for events that don't require dancing. It's more so like vibe type of events. So if you were like, oh yeah, I have a birthday party, my birthday's coming up, can you DJ? Unfortunately, no. I'll help you. I'll recommend some people, but I won't be DJing. I don't think I've DJed, in all honesty, in like maybe 7 or 8 years.
Wow. No one's come with the right price there. You come with that right price.
And
DJ
Sugar.
and wrapping gifts. DJ, tell me about that business. She's an entrepreneur.
I mean, and I would have parties at my house, and so like basement parties, and all my friends would come from all 3 schools: Wakefield, WNL, Yorktown. Our friends from DC and Maryland would come, and they asked me like, would you have another DJ Lovely party? And I said I would definitely do it, but I don't think I would DJ. I would get somebody else to DJ.
She get somebody like Kid Capri or DJ Nice or somebody.
Whoever it would be, they would have to know go-go. So there's that.
Oh, absolutely. That's a must.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. So you did a pivot. You went and started focusing on your social media career.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just curious, like, how did that prepare you for what you're doing now?
Oh yeah, because I'll start at Nucor. So I worked at Nucor. I was the marketing coordinator, marketing strategist.
All the above.
I had a lot of hats at
Yeah,
Nucor. I had a lot of hats. I was also the intern coordinator. Our intern, Ted's nephew. That was I think maybe one of my favorite roles during my Nucor time. But when I was at Nucor, I did the marketing, and this is around, I guess, like 2010, 2011, where social media was really starting to become more than just like social networking, but people were starting to use it for business. And they would say to me, I'm like, oh, we need to do this on Facebook. We need to get on Twitter and do this. And we need to be on ... And they were like, you are a threat to the organization. And I'm like, I'm just trying to make sure that, the company is getting its name out there so that, clients will come to you.
Mm-hmm.
So social media was one of the things that I did at Nucor, but then I also went to graduate school at Georgetown, and my goal and my plan was to go and do PR, get a master's in PR. But I noticed that the industry started to shift a little bit. So I saw that everything had changed from, write a whole press release to get your message out in 140 characters or less.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, well, seems like I need to go the digital strategies route. And so I did that and got my master's in corporate communication with a focus in digital strategies, which is, all things social media. And that's when I decided to make the leap to New York. And with the idea that I wanted to do social for an agency or just for a company. And really, again, I tried a whole bunch of different things because I quit my job at Nucor, and I didn't have a job when I moved to New York. So I was an intern. So you have these kids who are in undergrad, and they're like, oh, Lyndsey, what year of school are you in? And I'm like, I'm not in school. I have a master's degree. And they're like, why are you here? And I'm like, because in my mind, I figured if somebody left the internship or left the company where I was interning, then they would hire me because I'm already at the company. I'm probably more qualified than the person that was there. So, I could get a job that way. That was my thought process. And it worked out. It did work out really well. I had 2 internships, and I think in my 4th month of living in New York is when I got a job. So, yeah. And shout out to one of my other line sisters. Oh, go ahead, Ted. What are you going to say?
So you was like, I just got a job. You didn't just get a job. What was that? What was that first job you got out there in New York?
Well, okay, I think you're jumping ahead. My first job that I got in New York was a social media assistant at DKC Public Relations.
That's not the one I'm talking.
I know, that's the next one. That's the next one. But funny story about how I got that job is another one of my line sisters. Shout out to Jillian, who she lived in New York. I lived with two of my line sisters, Jillian and Dana. And so Jillian and we would go out every night almost, or at least I would go out every night because again, I was like, I need to be out in the scene. I need to meet people. You never know who you're going to meet. I need to be going to these events. And she gave me a stack of business cards, and it was like a whole stack. And she was very meticulous. So she would write on the business cards where she met these people. Like when she met them, like, oh, I met this person on X, Y, and Z boat party, whatever. So I took the business cards and I emailed them and would be like, hi, Eric, this is Lyndsey. We met on X, Y, and Z boat. I mean, because you're not really going to remember. I would love to set up an informational interview because she was telling me about these informational interviews. And I was like, what is an informational interview? I don't know nothing. I need a job. I don't need information. I need a job. If not, I would be sitting on y'all's couch for longer than what we expected. So I went through the stack of cards and I emailed people. And there was this one lady, she was a vice president at VH1 doing integrated marketing. And she was like, oh, yeah, absolutely. So I told her about, my whole career journey, had, got my master's degree and all of this. And she said, I don't think I'm the right person for you to talk to, but I want to connect you with our senior publicist, this woman named Nile Washington. So she connects me with Nile. I give her the same spiel. I'm in the grocery store, talking to her, telling her this and that. So mind you, one thing I left out is when I'm in New York, I have a spreadsheet of all the jobs that I'm applying to. So very meticulous notes, like, okay, I applied this day. That means I'm going to follow up with them in 2 weeks. I said, all of this, very structured. So I get a call from, I don't even know who it is. One thing about me, I don't save numbers. I just don't save people's numbers. Unless you physically take my phone and you save it, number's not saved. So I just answer the phone. And so I'm like, hello. And they're like, yeah, this is Lyndsey. This is such and such calling from DKC. We'd love to have you in for an interview. Folks talking all fast. I'm like trying to find a pen and stuff. I'm probably outside somewhere. So I'm like, okay. So I didn't really pick up where they said the name of the company. I didn't hear it good. And I didn't want to keep being like, huh? What? Who? So I was like, okay. So they sent me the information. So I'm like looking on my spreadsheet, never applied. Didn't even see this job posted or anything. So I go to the interview, goes well. And they asked me, they said, how do you feel about being an assistant, and you have a master's degree? And I was like, well, I just want to get the experience. So I'm fine with that. I get the job. I'm in the job a month and a half before I find out how I got the job. Nile had sent my resume over to this woman who worked at the PR agency, Nadine Penna, and Nadine submitted my resume for the position, and that's how they found me and reached out to me, and that's how I got the job. Wow. So all from that stack of business cards that I emailed those folks.
So there's a lot we could unpack with that, but as my thing is, you moved to New York.
Yeah.
On faith, basically.
Oh, right?
Yeah. Now, did you deal with any naysayers? Was there anybody in your ear like, why are you doing this? Oh my gosh, you don't have a job. What are you gonna do in New York? How'd you deal with the naysayers?
Well, I've always been very strong-willed. My grandma always say I'm from the show me state. You could say, Lyndsey, there's a lion in the bathroom. Doors closed, there's a lion behind that door. Some people are going to say, oh, I'm not going in there. I'm going to go. You sure? I don't hear nothing in there. Let me crack the door up. Oh, okay, it's a lion in there. Okay. I want to see it myself. So I've always been that type of person where once I have my mind made up, that's what I'm going to do. And there were tons of naysayers and it would be like subtle naysaying. Like, you don't know anybody up there. You don't have a job. You don't, like, what are you going to do for money? You know, you can't sleep on people's couches forever, or you're going to be sleeping on somebody's couch. And I kind of rationalize this, and I say this with love, but some of the people who were saying those types of things to me, I was like, you know what? You've never done anything like this. You've never left Arlington County. You've lived in a 20-mile radius your whole life, and there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with that at all. But I know for me, that wasn't my calling. So I knew that I said, okay, I saved up as much money as I could. And I didn't really, my plan was to say, I was like, all right, I left in August, and I said, if I don't have a job by the end of the year, then I'll come back. And what really made me move to New York is I was on the phone and had connected with what do you call those people to help you get a job?
The headhunter?
Yeah, recruiter. Yeah. So I had connected with this lady, and I was on my way to Newport, and so we're on the phone talking, and I said, well, you let me know when the interview is, and I'll come up. She said, wait, you're not in New York? I said, no, I still live in Virginia. She said, call me when you get to New York. Click. I said, this fool didn't hung up on me. I said, I got to go. It was at that moment when I said, I'm not going to get a job, which is true, because New York moves so fast that unless I'm there, like, it really would be hard. And so I just kind of looked at it like that. I said, all right, at least if I go, and if it doesn't work out, then I can always come back. But for me to never even try I would be miserable. I would be a miserable person going to work and to be dealt with. I would just have an attitude the whole day, always.
No, and that's a great story. And I think one of the takeaways is that you can expect naysayers when you're stepping outside the box and going for your dream and not coloring not coloring within the lines.
Yep.
That naysayers are to be expected.
Yeah.
So awesome. So now let's talk about the game. That's what everybody wants to hear about. They want to hear about this top 3 game, which you just happen to have a picture of right there. So you're the founder of this game, Top 3, the game where all good hints come from, or the game where all good hints come. So question number 1, where did you get this idea to start the game?
So, I kind of stopped at DKC. So once I moved to New York, I kept getting great jobs. So I was out one day, and my good friends, Crystal Kelly, who's a TV producer, and my friend Pinky Cole, who's the owner and CEO of Slutty Vegan restaurant in Atlanta, we were out and had some drinks and stuff, and they were like, our job is looking for a social media coordinator. And I was like, okay, you're out at a club, you're not really thinking. I'm like, I'll send you my resume tomorrow. So this is like 9 months after I get the job at DKC. Well, they worked for NBC Universal. Crystal worked for the Trisha Goddard show, and Pinky worked for the Maury Povich show. You are not the father. And the lie detector determined. And so, again, in true New York fashion, I sent her my resume on Saturday. Excuse me. And I got a call on Monday to come interview on Tuesday. The job was up in Connecticut. So I go up to Connecticut, do the interview, and Connecticut is maybe 45 minutes on the express train, hour 15 local train. By the time I got back to my house, ordered a pizza, they were calling to offer me the job. And the job was doubling my salary at DKC. So they were like, so we were, the salary is X. I'll take it. I mean, yes. Sounds well. It sounds well. I hung up. I said, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. I'll take it. Yeah. So and that happened. And then the next day I went to work and I told them, here's my 2 weeks. It's been lovely. And it had been lovely. And so I worked for Maury almost 3 years. And then I started freelanced at BT, at Essence Magazine. I did some social media. We call it like as a social media analyzer, where I dealt with the numbers for this tequila company, Casa Dragones. And I had read this book. I read Charlie Wilson's memoir, his autobiography, Charlie Wilson from Gap Band. So reading this book, I had no idea Charlie Wilson was on drugs. He was strung out, living in like a U-Haul, getting high, all this stuff. If you haven't read it, it's an interesting story. But he said the most pivotal moment of his career is when he was honored in 2005 with a BMI award. And I said, well, what is this BMI? Let me look it up. I said, oh, cool, music licensing. They do a lot of fun stuff. This is in August. So I said, I'm still freelancing. So I was like, they don't have any positions, but I'll just keep my options open. I looked back in maybe November. They have a social media position open. Getting the resume together and everything. Send it over. And I had applied for like some other positions and had like 4 other offers, and BMI came back with the best offer, and I took the position and started working there in March of 2017. And so I was like, this is great. And I go to all these different festivals and award shows, and I'm getting to the answer to the question. But
this your show. You good?
It's like they say in church. Take your time.
Take your time. Girl, take your time. Let them use you.
And so I would be going to these festivals and award shows and stuff, and you go to these things and you're meeting and talking to these musicians or celebrities or whomever it may be, and you're asking the same question: what are you working on? What inspires you? Blah blah blah. So I said, what is it that I could do, or like what could I do with them that would get them excited and want to talk to me? And so I created a game called Emoji That Track. Pretty much what you do is you translate, I would translate their song titles into emojis and then have them guess their own song titles. So I played with like Sting, T-Pain, Ludacris, Kacey Musgraves, Dennis Quaid, just a whole bunch of people. And my SVP said, I want you to turn this into a physical game. I said, now, I'm over here managing the social media we have offices across the company. Across the country. I'm in different time zones. I deal with all the John. I don't have time to create a game. I don't have time to do that. But then I said, well, I do love a good game. I do love me some Monopoly. So I was like, this could be kind of cool. And so created the game, whole board and everything. And it was actually a really great project. And then, the pandemic happened. And when the pandemic happened, we were nominated for a Webby Award. And so Webby is like the Academy Awards of the internet. So we, we do that. And I'm like super excited. And it got me thinking, I said, well, shoot, if I can create a game for them, I could create a game for myself. And so I had a few ideas. I said, I put my thinking cap on, and this is March. It's like April 2020. So everybody's at home doing nothing, trying to wait out this pandemic. And so I had some ideas, and I took it to an attorney because I know how like these ideas and stuff work. So I took it to an attorney, and I had 4 ideas, and out of the 4 ideas, she only said that I couldn't do one of them because it would be so successful that when it did become successful, the artists in the game would be wanting money. And I said, okay, yeah, no sense of going down that route. And so once that happened, I called my best friend Krishan, and I said, Shani, we got to get a move on it. And she helped me from top to bottom, researching the song titles and the artists and things like that. And that's pretty much how Top 3 came to be. And we did like a focus group, because the original idea was that it was going to be one box with all the genres. And when we did our focus groups, people said, Lyndz, I love playing this game, but I just want to play with the genre that I know. So that's when we got our R&B hip hop version of it.
Top 3. So tell us more about that. Like what's the object of the game? How do you win? Let us know. How does that work?
So Top 3 is such a fun game. I tell people that it's fun because, and it's not only fun because I created it, but it is a good time. People do have a good time playing it. Ted, you're on mute.
I said, this game is awesome. You'll love this game. It's better than anything you've ever played before.
It is. So the object of the game is to match song titles to the performing artist. So I was hoping that we could play a little bit if you guys are down. I'll give you an example to start you off, and then let me know if you want to play. But if I said, who performs Beat It, Billie Jean, and Thriller?
That's a tough one there. I'm gonna go with Michael Jackson.
Okay, ding, 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 ding. Michael Jackson.
I knew it was Michael.
Did you?
It was on the tip of my tongue.
If I say, who performs, let's see, Crazy in Love, Single Ladies, and Halo?
I'll let Ted answer this one.
I think that's the Queen.
Yeah.
Beyonce.
Yeah, that's right. That's the Queen, Beyonce. So you have 1 minute to try to get your team to guess as many artists as possible. So there are 300 artists in our box that range from 1960s all the way to present day. So you have everybody in this box from James Brown to Cardi B to Diana Ross to 112. Every Alexander O'Neal, you have Big Luther, you have Little Luther, you have everybody in this box. And
Big and Little Luther?
You got Big and Little Luther.
Oh,
Luther.
Yeah, Luther.
So when the song comes up, you have to guess if it's Big or Little Luther. Like if you say it's Little Luther, you're wrong. Nope, that was Big Luther.
Exactly. And one thing that really sets Top 3 apart is, one, there are 3 ways to play. So I told you the original way. You can also add in a level of karaoke. If your team can sing some of the songs, like some of the lyrics from the songs on the card, you'll get an extra point. Or you'll play a different way, and instead of giving your team the song titles, you give them the name of the artist, and they have 1 minute to try to guess as many song titles by that artist.
Wow.
And what sets Top 3 apart is Top 3 is one of the only music trivia games that has a point system. So right here, you'll see that these 3 dots are shaded. This indicates the level of difficulty and also how many points you'll receive. So as opposed to this side, you'll get 1 point. And then this side, you'll get 3 points. So yeah. So do you want to play around?
We can do
Sure.
Okay, we'll do a couple. All right. And I can give you hints too. I can give you cultural hints. So it is Miami. Who performs Miami, Switch, Summertime?
That's gonna be Will Smith.
That's right. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, I'm keeping score. All right. So that's one for Eric. Okay, ladies first. UNITY, Simply Beautiful.
No, that's Queen Latifah.
Okay, well, that's a point for Ted. All right, let me go a little up it a little bit. Okay, phone down, window seat, green eyes. Phone down, window seat, green eyes. I always say I'm never going to sing, but then I end up singing. Y'all want me to sing one of the songs?
Sure. This is just, even if this doesn't help, this should be entertaining.
Can I get a window seat? Don't want nobody next to me. She's from Texas. She's also a DJ.
She's also a DJ.
See, she used to date Common.
Oh, that doesn't tell us anything.
Okay. Ooh. All right. Let me think. Dang. All right. I'm trying to think of another hint. Oh, I wish. Okay, I can't say that. I said she's from Texas. She's a DJ. She's been out since the 90s.
Spinderella?
Nope.
She's a DJ.
She is a DJ. Salt and Pepper's DJ. But no. Okay, I might have to give this to y'all.
Go on, give it to her.
Erykah Badu. Yeah. That's okay.
That daggone Common, boy. All
right, I'm gonna
give us a better hint than that.
That could be a lot of people.
There could be a lot of people. All right. What about I Want Your Love, Good Times, Lay Freak? Freak out. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, that's she.
Yeah, that's she.
So during the game, you can actually sing it?
I can sing it to you. Yeah, but I can't give you any other song titles. I can only say the song titles listed on the card.
Yeah.
Okay. What about It Never Rains, Anniversary, Feels Good?
Oh, I know this. Tony. There you go.
That's a tie.
Ain't no tie. I said that before. He was saying I know this. I had already said the second
You had
tone.
already said it? All right. I might have to give it to Ted. Let's see. Pretty Wings, This Woman's Worth.
Go ahead.
Maxwell.
Whoa.
Come on. See?
Okay.
Right.
Heartbreaker, Computer Love, Be All Right.
Oh, I know that. Roger.
And who else? Roger and who?
No more. Am I winning by? I'm up by like 12.
You are, but you had to say the whole name. Roger and who?
And Zap.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna give you one last. Should we do one more?
You just do one more.
Okay,
I'm gonna let him answer this one.
Okay. Good Love, Angel, You Bring Me Joy.
Nita Baker.
Yes. Woo!
Y'all need to get this game. This is good. Y'all need to get this game.
I'm
telling you.
This game. You got to get it. And let me tell you, when you start playing with big groups of people get heated. And because that there's, it's it ranges from 1960s to present day, it's multi-generational. So I took this over to my grandma, and Grandma Sally is 88, I think. 88. And so I told her, I was like, Grandma, I made this game. She said, well, give me some cards. Give me a few. So I said, all right. I said, so I picked out some that I knew she would like in her era. So I said, okay, Grandma, sexual healing. Let's get a Marvin Gaye. Give me another one. I said, oh, okay. I said something else. Oh, that's Aretha Franklin. I said, all right. And so we were going, and I think we were about 7 or 8 cards in. And the one that stuck her, she said, I know the group. She said, I know it's a group. It's about 5 of them. I see them with yellow suits on. And I said, Grandma, it's the Spinner. She said, God dog. She was hot. She was hot. Shout out to my Uncle Chris who's on the live. Yep. So yeah, it's definitely a really fun game. You need it at your game night.
Man, let me tell you, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I am going to order that game, and we're going to play that. I'm going to play that in several settings.
Oh, good. Please do. It like I said, we have our R&B version out, but eventually we plan to expand to other genres. So it's a lot that we can do with top 3.
Like you could even do in the right. You could do that as an icebreaker,
So
for the right group.
Oh yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because what I've done is I do icebreakers for people. So I hop on their staff calls and we play top 3. And it's so funny because I played it with like the Nurses Association in Arlington. I play it with all different types of groups of people. And sometimes people are a little worried. They're like, oh, I don't know if my people are going to know R&B and hip hop. People know music. You might not think that they know, but they know music. So it's definitely a definite hit.
Yeah, long as you don't, except some of the new stuff. Some of the new stuff, I'm like, who? Daddy Raps, that scratchy snip. Well, who? You don't know.
That's why you got to play it with with a large group of people. You play it with a large group of people.
Oh man! So we'll announce this again later, but how can people get the game?
Absolutely. So you can go to our website, top3game.com, and you can order your game there. I have, I guess we'll share this, but I have a code for anybody listening. It is T3. I guess we'll put it in the chat, but T3 free gift. So when you place your order, you can get a free gift with your order. So yeah, you get it on our website. We are also in 5 retail stores. We're in 3 stores now in New York City. We're in Amoeba Records in Los Angeles, Cactus Music in Houston. Revolution Books in Harlem, Random Accessories in the East Village, and Legacy Records in Dumbo. And if you're in the DMV, you got to stop by the photo gallery and you can pick up your game there. So you can avoid the shipping. You can avoid your shipping charges, but definitely get top 3.
I'm telling you, you need to get top 3. You can use it as a icebreaker. You can use it just with your friends. This is definitely something to get.
Can I share some exciting news?
Please do.
Sure.
Nobody knows this yet except for the top 3 crew. That's the folks that help out with the game. Shout out to the top 3 crew. But we launched top 3 in January of 2020. I mean, not 2020, of this year. January 2022. That's when we started to ship out the games. And we've been going through making sure that we have all the proper things for the business. And last week we got registered. So top 3 is a registered trademark.
Wow.
So
excellent.
We are super excited. I just got the certificate today in the mail. So yeah, it's definitely
that is great.
A great time for us.
Fantastic.
Oh, and my mom, she just said, and Amazon. That's right. You can also get top 3 on Amazon.
Great. So you've literally changed the game for yourself, right? So what advice do you have? Let's see if we can come up with three ideas for people that want to change the game. They want to change the game. They want to reinvent themselves. Based on your experience, what are 3 things people should be thinking about if they want to change the game?
First thing, I go back to the advice that I would have given myself. Try everything. Try doing everything, because you're never going to learn what you like and what you don't like unless you try it. The second piece of advice is to stay consistent. So a lot of times, and I have to remind myself of this, is, a lot of times we get so wrapped up in social media, seeing what other people are doing. And we might feel like the pressure, like, oh man, we're not, such and such's business is doing this and this person's business. And look, they're over here speaking over here and they're doing this. And we get frustrated with ourselves. But what we don't realize is that other person, whomever that we're looking at, they just stay consistent. So just do one thing each day that's going to get you to your goal. You don't have to, do 50 million things, 50 less things every single day. If you just do one thing every single day and you just stay consistent, those one things are going to snowball and snowball and snowball until you got a whole mountain. And I would say my last piece of advice, the third piece of advice, is just trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord, or if you don't believe in the Lord, in whatever higher power that you believe in, just trust in that, because the Lord has definitely taken me to from being jobless and homeless in New York City, to working for the Maury Show, to working at Essence, to working at BMI, to starting a game. Like, and when I say that, this all came along pretty quickly. Like, 2021 is when we really, like, we did the research and stuff, but 2021 is when we did the research, we did the design work, we I had informational sessions, because you got to think about funding. Like, creating something isn't it's not easy to do, and then, when you don't have, say, financial resources. I did every single day after work, I would do these informational sessions where I invited my friends and family to hop on to learn more about top 3 and like my vision, and ask them to donate. And I'm just so thankful to the Lord that, my friends, my family, people that I didn't even know, that they just, appreciated the pitch that I gave them, and they donated for us to do our first run of games. And now we're about to order our second round of game, our second batch of games. So, if you just trust in the Lord, everything will fall into place.
So we're talking about the 3 secrets to becoming a game changer. So we've told you, number 1, you have to try everything. Try doing everything. Number 2, stay consistent. Take at least one step every day in the direction of your goal. Number 3, trust in the Lord. Trust
Yeah.
in your higher power, and you can change the game. Great advice.
Thanks.
Great
Yeah.
advice. I hope people are taking notes and writing this down, and they got the
I
3
hope so
secrets.
too. I hope so too, because I mean, it really is like, there's some days when I'm just like, I'm tired. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything, but I just force myself, just one thing. If you just do one thing, then it'll. And normally, what happens with me is, once I do that one thing, I'm like, all right, now I'm in the mood. Let me go ahead and knock this out. Let me go ahead and knock that out. But it does like, it just spirals. It keeps snowballing and snowballing. So yeah, top 3 is definitely beyond my wildest dreams. I say that the Lord gave me this idea, and it was bugging me. I was like, I've got to get this done. Like, I couldn't sleep at night. And this is a random thing. I don't think I shared this with anybody. Is I would have dreams that I was like pregnant, and I was like, what is this? What is this dream? And so I looked up, like, what does the dream mean? Because a lot of times, you take it so literal. But in the dream, I read different interpretations of dreams, and it was saying that it doesn't mean that you're going to give birth to a baby or something, but you might have an idea that you have to give birth to. And I would have these dreams, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to get we've got to get this game out, because I don't want to keep having these types of dreams. And it literally was me giving birth to my baby top thing. I put a little bonnet on it, or a little bed. But yeah, just giving birth to an idea. So yeah.
So, it's interesting, just listening to everything that's happening with top 3 and the success. And then I just think about your circle, your sorority sisters. And I'm just like, gee, you got one slutty vegan. And then you got, play pits. And now top 3. I mean, you got people right in your circle that you can do it.
Yeah.
Right? People that have been right around you, that you've known for years, and you've watched them,
Yeah.
go
And
from
it's
an idea and take it to, major levels. So you're coming right up with them.
And it's so true. Like, when they say surround yourself with the people what do they say? Surround yourself by people who like inspire you and motivate you. Like Pinky, who owns Slutty Vegan, she's not my line sister. She's a Delta, but we're the same number, so we call each other number. And I've been friends with Pinky for years. I've been friends with Crystal, who is also a Delta, who's a Emmy award-winning television producer. And you have Play Pits. You have Chantel, who we're line sisters. There's so many other line sisters, other women on our line who are just amazing and phenomenal. And I always have to shout out Dana Brewington and Jillian Almeida, because these are my two line sisters who I live with in New York. The one who gave me the stack of business cards, and because they were just like, it was just so easy. And when things are right for you, everything just falls into place. Like when it was time for me to move, I reached out to them. I was like, hey y'all, can I come and stay on your couch? How much are you going to charge me? And they were like, oh yeah, when you coming? I was like, I was thinking August 1st, and I'll only be there for like a month. In my mind, I'll only be there for like a month, and you tell me how much I should pay and like what I should do. And they were just like, oh yeah, you can stay as long as you want. We'll charge you X, Y, and Z, and yeah, have at it. And then when that month was over, it was near enough on the month, and I had to go back to them. I was like, so I'm gonna need to stay just a little bit longer. And they were like, totally fine. And everything just worked out. Everything, even with top three. Of course, there are like little hurdles, but for the most part, everything just works out. And that's how you know when things are, right for you, because I feel like we oftentimes try to talk ourselves out of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we can do a real good job of talking ourselves out of it. But what I've noticed is, if something is for you, then there's no need to talk yourself out of it, because it just happens. It just works. It just works. I have to think of an example, but it literally, prime example. I go to the attorney with 4 ideas. It was a lyric game. It was top 3. It was another game that I had, and then I wanted to ask about the emoji game. And the only one that she said I could not do was the lyric, because lyrics are copywritten, and it's somebody's intellectual properties, which I know from working in the music industry. And she was saying, that those folks will come back and want a piece of that, of the game. But she was like, everything else you can do. And I was like, well, how can I do top 3 when it has people's names and, their songs? She said, because it's a fact. It's a fact that Michael Jackson performs Beat It, Billie Jean, and Thriller. It's a fact that Beyonce performs Single Ladies, Crazy in Love. All of this is fact. And again, conversation. In my mind, I was like, oh, I'm about to pay however much her little $300 or whatever it was. And I was like, she probably going to tell me, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to think like that. I was like, I'm just going to the call and we'll just see what happens. 3 out of the 4, good to go. Good to go. Easy.
Wow. Oh man. So you shared a lot. I'm just curious, like what's next on the horizon for you?
Top 3 is on a mini horizon for me, because what I loved about our focus group, and this is the very first one that we had, and we had people of all different ages and ethnicities on there. And when they said, we only want to play with the genre of music that we know, I said, oh, say less. So what's on the horizon is we want to expand to different genres. We have R&B, hip hop. We were going to expand to pop, rock, country, Latin. And the thing about top 3 is that the same concept can be applied to other topics too. So their TV shows. If I said, what TV show has Thelma, James, and Willona?
That's good times, yeah.
Exactly. So we really want to take top 3 to being one of the top 3 games in the world. And as of right now, top 3 card games in the world. And the top 2 card games right now are Uno and Phase 10. And Phase 10 was created by a Black man. So, excuse me. So we really want to take top three to bring it to everyone. And so that's really what's next for us. We're gearing up for the holidays. This is, again, it's the perfect gift, because I tell people everything about top three is very intentional. So, for example, I got my little cute handbag here. Top three is so compact that it fits in my purse. So it'll fit in your purse. It'll fit in you have a little bag, satchel, man bag whatever it is, your beach bag, whatever.
You need that for your man bag.
You need it for your man bag. You just walk around quizzing people.
Fanny pack. There you go.
Pack. It'll fit in the fanny. Okay, it's gonna fit in the fanny. So, it's you can take it on road trips. We were in Memphis, and we were someplace. We played as a road trip. So everything about top three is very intentional, making sure that it's small enough to be carried around, making sure that top three will never be a one-hit wonder, because there are three ways to play. And what sets it apart is there are music games out there, but a lot of those music games are conversation starters. So, for example, what song reminds you of your high school prom? What song reminds you of if you're in a convertible and you're driving along the Pacific Coast Highway? What song are you listening to? These are wonderful games. Wonderful. You're going to have a wonderful time, but I'm competitive. I want to know, give me my points. Run me my points. So top three is definitely that competitive game that you can play and have a good time. Or you don't have to play it competitively. You can use it as a conversation starter as well.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So we're now coming up on the final segment called Write This Down. This is where we each share specific things that we want people to remember from this episode. So they need to write it down so they can level up. So Lyndsey, you're our guest of honor. What should the people write down based on this episode?
They should definitely write down where they can purchase top three. top3game.com. But aside from that, I think that they should write down the three pieces of advice that I recommended is, trusting in the Lord, doing one thing every day, and what was the
staying consistent?
Oh yeah, staying consistent. Yeah. So those are the things. Yeah, that's what I think about every day, and that's what keeps me motivated is, just being able to bring something to the masses that brings joy. And I think that that's been very consistent in my career as a whole, is that even when I was DJing, I DJ'd not because I was like, I want to make money, and that's not the reason why I did it. I enjoy other people having a good time. That's why I DJ. And even in my social media career, I would do freelance social media. I enjoy, and my target audience for freelance would be up and coming businesses or small businesses, because I enjoyed promoting those small businesses. And so now I have top three. I enjoy people having a good time. And if you can have a good time, off of something that I've created, then I've really won.
For sure. Hopefully everybody wrote that down. We gave you 2 chances to write it down.
Yeah.
Hopefully by time number 2, it's on your sheet there. So Ted, what should the people write down?
Well, I just think it's, just make it happen, right? Like I think I always tell people, I said, you can wait for it to happen, or you can make it happen. And everything that Lyndsey has talked about today, whether it's, getting out to New York, not knowing, if she was going to have a place to stay, a job, all of that. And then, taking a business card that someone else made a contact. I ain't never heard that. And then reach out to that contact as if, to engage with that contact as if they met before. Right. And then just all the other opportunities that came around. And just, again, you can wait for it to happen, or you can or you can make it happen. And I think that's the thing of, most entrepreneurs. I think they have those moments where it's like, okay, do I wait for this to happen? Do I wait for the investor? No, I'm gonna go ask my family to invest, right? So you make it happen. So write that down. Don't wait for it to happen. Make it happen.
Great advice. Don't wait. Make it happen. There you go. Fantastic.
I thought
So
you were going to say something else, Tay. You know what I thought your point was going to be? And I love that it was that was such a thoughtful write it down. I thought you were going to say, if you're not paying, then I ain't playing. I thought
That's it too.
So now that you've stolen mine, I'm gonna have to think of something else here on the fly.
Oh my goodness!
You write that down too, though.
That's yours.
Hey, look, that needs to be written down for sure. But no, I saw a quote from Oprah that really stood out to me, and she said that you have to take action on the things that whisper to you. And that just blew me away, because a lot of times these innovative ideas, they don't just, nobody, hey, Lyndsey, create a board game. No, it's a whisper, right? And it's such a whisper, it's easy to dismiss it, right? And think, oh, yeah, I get around to it. No, I think it's so important. You have to take action, even if, like you said, Lyndsey, even if it's one small step in that direction. You have to start moving on those things. That we all have things that are whispering to us.
And if you don't mind, can I share something else?
Right ahead.
And another thing.
We're gonna have a part.
You said what?
We have a 2-part podcast. Our first 2-part. Can I just say one more?
Well, this is my last thing. So one of my favorite books, and I read this book every single year. Every year, I think for the last 10, 15 years, I've read this book. It's The Alchemist. And in The Alchemist, the boy, he has this reoccurring dream about his treasure. And I felt like I was the boy in The Alchemist for a long time, because he gave up what he knew as being a shepherd, and he sold all his sheep, and he went to go across the desert because he had to get to the pyramids. But in all the different things, he ended up losing everything, and then he got everything back, and he still continued on his journey. And I think that The Alchemist is such an important story, because it's life. It's life. We all have a purpose. We all have a treasure that we're searching for. And there's some people who stop following their treasure. And he says in the book, they say in the book, when you stop listening to the treasure, it's gonna stop talking to you. It's gonna stop. You're never gonna find it, and you're always gonna be thinking about what shoulda, coulda, woulda happened. And the boy, he eventually gets to his treasure, but it's the important thing is that he never gave up, and he used each trial and tribulation as a lesson. And that's kind of how I feel like with everything that I do. Is like everything is a lesson. Even if it's not, say, the outcome that I wanted, it's still a lesson. And no matter what, I'm just going to keep following the treasure, whatever it may be.
Keep following the treasure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hopefully y'all wrote that down. Take action on those things that whisper to you. Keep following the treasure. Okay, Lyndsey, one more time. How can people get a hold of Top 3?
Absolutely. You can go to top3game.com, and that is top3game.com. You can order your game there. You can also order your game on Amazon. If you're in the DMV area, stop by the photo gallery. If you are in, New York, LA, or Houston, you can also pick up your games in those respective stores, and that information is on our website, but top3game.com. And be sure to follow us on social media. Our handles on everything is at the top3game. So yeah, and if you have any questions for me and you want to reach out, definitely hit us up on Instagram. That's probably the best way, or send an email, and I'll respond.
Great. Well, again, we want to thank Lyndsey McFail, the creator of the Top 3 game,
Thank
for
y'all.
sharing her insights. Don't forget to go back to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and re-listen to this episode. Make sure you get those 3 secrets that she shared. That's our time for this week. And until next time, have a great one.
Thank you.